That right there, it's a DJI Inspire 3. So DJI sent me this drone to review. It is mine to play with and to test out all of the new features and to see if I still have a job. Everything in that box might be trying to replace this. And so that's what I'm really trying to find out. You've seen tons of footage from this sort of drone. Now let's put that up and see what it can do. I hope I still have a job at the end of this. Look at that bird. Looks pretty good with an Emmy right next to it. Just kidding. So first of all, I cannot describe how freaking light this thing is. Like, it's crazy. Look at that little FPV camera. So cute. 6 TB51 batteries. We've got the fast charger, one of the 2 smart controllers, and then our ZenMuse 9 8K Air. Oh my gosh, thing is awesome. That is so cool. That's your whole charging setup right there. We can also plug in and charge our controller. And that's a 65 watt output, and this should charge really nice and fast. They've very generously provided a second controller, another RC Plus for Inspire 3. That's gonna be combined with this so that we can have dual operations for the Inspire. The controllers have their own internal battery, but then they also have an external removable crystal sky to help them last longer. This is such a cool setup. So let's see how quickly we can get this all packed up into the case and out of here. And like that, we are out. Now that we've got this drone unboxed and ready to roll, we rented a 50mm lens, headed down to Louisville, and we're gonna shoot as much as we can around the city with Winston.
Bingo.
Feel that.
What?
Right? Okay, you feel good?
Yep.
I feel good. Drone goes up.
Drone goes up. Oh, pan axis endpoint reached. I gotta recenter. Oh, love it. The speed with this, dude. Holy crap.
That looks so sick.
Ooh. Oh, this angle.
That's it. That's what I wanted. Oh no! We hit the limit.
Recentering. Motherfucker.
That was phenomenal.
Good job, man. Good job.
What was that?
I said this thing's surprisingly light for Jenny.
They'll be happy to hear that. I wanted to give a big shout out to CFMOTO for sending me their i30 generator. I did a project for these guys back in January covering their motorcycle products. Shout out to Rally Studios, Anthony Jaska, Jake Lundell for bringing me in on that project. And we used this generator a ton to charge big city lifter batteries constantly through the project. So they reached out and said, hey, can we add one to one of your YouTube videos? And it's perfect timing. It's the perfect tool. So let's fire this up, keep these batteries charging, and keep filming. Okay, we are just about out of light. One of the amazing features of the DJI Inspire 3 is that you can hot swap batteries. I've got 2 mostly charged batteries here. This drone is still on. There's switches down here. If I hit just this side, poops out that battery, set it aside, stick this battery back in, don't fail. Now I can poop out this side, put this battery back in. Drone never powered down. These go back on. So those will start charging. And now, without ever power cycling the drone, drone's going up. We're back up in the air.
One of the things that's so special about the DJI Inspire 3 is that its awesome full-frame sensor has dual native ISO. It's the first drone in this kind of pre-made package, right? Like a Mavic or a Phantom, or even in the Inspire series to have that dual native ISO. Previously, you would have had to fly like an Alta X or an FPV drone with a gimbal and having a cinema camera on there to be able to get good low-light shots. So it's really exciting to see what the Inspire 3 can do. So Winston and I are gonna send it out here at night. So the next party pieces that we want to play with on the i3 are essentially why it's a flying robot. From the FPV world, Winston and I have experienced flying manual drones as close to the same routes as possible, but this thing combined with the RTK stands for real-time kinematics. This communicates with the sky and it sends that data off to the drone. The output of it is that the drone can fly with centimeter level accuracy. The RTK and with all of the GPS features and stuff should be able to fly the same route over and over and over again. So using DJI's 3D Dolly feature, we're turning this thing into a cable cam that we can control the speed of. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's get it up in the air, get a route built, get to filming. So I'm gonna navigate out of this, go into flight route, create a route, and I'm gonna do live mission record. What that's gonna do is allow me to just fly a route, and it's gonna automatically, once I tick this auto add waypoints along that route so that I can then come back and refly that route over and over again.
I think that's the big advantage too, is you can fly as slow as you want to set it up, and if you trust the drone, just gradually get faster, and let it eat.
I'm starting my move. I've got the auto add waypoint. I'm just flying it here to keep it a little bit tighter to the trees on the left there, because that's gonna look cool. Let it run along this edge, past this tree, and then we're gonna ascend up. So now that we've done that route, I'm gonna hit save. It's gonna save all those waypoints. You can see that I've created a new waypoint here. If I tap execute, it's gonna give me some warnings. That tells me repeatable routes or 3D Dolly. So repeatable routes, the drone will fly itself, so I can just send it at whatever speed. It's just gonna go whoop, whoop, one way or the other. It's horrifying. Or 3D Dolly, and that allows me to use the right stick, just push forward or backward, and it's gonna operate along that route based on my command. If I set this control mode to manual, that's gonna give him control of the gimbal while the drone is flying the waypoint. FPV follows route direction will have the camera always pointed one direction. If I don't tick that, it allows me to turn it around, which makes me a lot more comfortable. Signal lost action will return to home, or whatever you want it to do. You can hover, land, return to home, or continue. I got it set to return to home. And then the starting point I can adjust. So I'm gonna set it to the last point so that it starts near the other end. So now I'm gonna hit start. It's gonna move back one point because I can't start it at the last point for some reason. Now I'm gonna just hold forward. It's gonna go to position 20. You can even see the waypoint in my FPV view. And now we are ready to do the route. So we're looking for a car to come into frame. As soon as Winston sees it.
Truck coming, wait, pick up.
So I'm gonna slowly start, and then the drone is gonna descend automatically, fly down to the deck. I'm going slow right now so that he can catch up to us. And now as he catches up, I'm putting fuller. Now I'm at full speed. Winston's capturing it. All I'm doing is holding forward on the stick. The drone is ripping. We were maybe a little bit slow on that one. But that's okay, because it's repeatable. Boom, shot over. All I did was hold forward. I'm out of a job, man. Okay, so now the beauty of this is we can actually do this the opposite direction. So now Winston can kind of look down, find the road, find a car coming. Okay, full stick in it. Go, drone, go. Oh my gosh, it's so horrifying to just watch it fly backwards at full speed, next to trees. Okay, starting. I'm gonna just go full stick from the beginning this time. That looks so good, dude.
I'm getting this figured out. That was a very smooth from my standpoint. Dude, that was, what, third try and we got it. White SUV. Oh, they're not going good speed.
Oh my gosh, it's just insane. Over and over and over again. If we had an actual dedicated film subject and we know where the action is gonna start, you just send the drone.
The big thing that I love too is it's repeatable in reverse. Like you can literally send your subject from 1 to 2, from 2 to 1.
Yeah, and this is a relatively simple move because we're just demonstrating how this feature works. But like given a controlled road, we could cross the road and then come down, we could go under gaps, stuff like that.
Good stuff. This thing's fun. I just got a brand new Mavic and it's not nearly as cool now. Thanks, Paul.
I think he means thanks DJI. This is the perfect opportunity to say thank you for lending me Inspire 3 to play with. We're really excited about the opportunity.
Me as well, and I just don't like my Cine 3 Pro as much now.
Nothing we can do about that. Okay, so with repeatable routes,
Sorry, hold on.
With repeatable routes, this is where the RTK really comes into play, is I'm going to develop a route that I can just click go and the drone's just gonna go whoop, and do the route over and over and over again. And the RTK gives it that centimeter level accuracy so that we can actually overlay multiple takes. So what I'm gonna do is build this route to kind of go along this path, this bike path right in front of us. I'm gonna get it set up so that it'll go whoop, 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 and then I'm gonna go to different intervals down the road and just run. I'll start when the drone's right next to me, and then I'll start one where I'm a little bit further forward and a little bit further forward. As the drone's coming down the road, there should be multiple copies of me I'm not gonna say sprinting, I'm gonna say jogging down this path off into the distance. That has never been possible before with any other cinema drone. Hopefully we're doing it all right, but we'll see what happens.
So what's the drone gonna do?
The drone's gonna go. Okay, so I'll go get down to 1 and then just tell me when to start moving.
Camera speed, starting motion.
I'm not sure if those repeatable routes shots worked quite the way that we had wanted to. It seemed like when we were there, we could see that there were slight differences in the way the camera was angled or where the drone was positioned relative to what was going on. As far as we know, we followed the instructions of how to use the RTK and the drone to the T. So I'm not totally sure what happened with our system. Maybe there's something here, maybe there's some sort of user error, but I know that it's possible, right? We can look and you can see tons of examples of people successfully doing it really well. That being said, really excited about that feature. Still really loved the 3D dolly. I think that was an unbelievable feature to be able to just have it run on a cable cam, A to B, A to B, A to B, especially if we were filming like racing or mountain biking or something like that where we have to run that same move over and over and over again. That being said, in a production environment, you're gonna constantly be making small changes, adapting on the fly. So like setting it up and parking it and going through that repeatable route process, I don't know if that's always gonna be an option just because of the nature of the world of production. Am I absolutely impressed and excited about what it could mean to be able to use something like that? Yes. Do I think it's always the first thing that I'm gonna go for when I'm trying to get shots? I don't know. I feel like, even if I'm still flying the Inspire,
Oh yeah, here we go. I'm a real drone operator now.
I would still manually fly that route. I wouldn't necessarily set up a full repeatable route system. I think I would just put it at A, fly down and do it, because I've basically tried to train myself as the 3D dolly. I'm not trying to use the 3D dolly, I'm trying to be it. If the director says, oh, can you start a little further back? I don't have to recreate an entire route. Instead, I just, fly it a little bit further away. Or if we want to make the drone go slightly lower or slightly higher throughout the shot, I can just do it manually and get pretty much the same shot every single time. So I think that it's really important that we focus in on operator skill as much as we do on the actual technology. The technology is a really nice tool to have, but I think in a really fast-paced, high-intensity environment, you're going to have to be able to fly it manually. So the concept of this video started out with, is there a point now in these gimbaled FPV rigs, this crazy setup, versus the DJI Inspire 3? I think in spite of all of the amazing technology that's inside of this thing, both of these tools still have a place. So let's kind of talk about some of the differences between the two of these and the things that I've noticed as I've flown this a ton, as I've definitely flown this a lot, and just kind of talk about some of those differences, those different locations, those different places where I would choose one over the other. When we were down in Louisville, we were flying way out over the river within visual line of sight, of course, and we were flying further than I ever would have wanted to be operating an FPV drone. When we're kind of just slightly obfuscated by the bridge or when we're getting really low to the water, the fail-safes on this are essentially just cut and dump in the river, where the fail-safes on this I can trust a lot more to do a return to home, to use those obstacle avoidance to get back to me safely. When we were flying the Inspire, I just set up in one spot and I flew to the spot that I wanted to operate from. When I'm flying a drone like this, typically, because it's so much shorter flight times, it's got less safety features, it's got those sort of limitations to it, generally what I'm gonna do is move my body to a spot where I have the absolute perfect location to be able to fly it. Now, when I'm getting big shots of the city or shots along the bridge, stuff like that, it was really, really nice to trust the video system on this, to trust those safety features, and as a package, it was way more comfortable to just go out, fly, come back, where this is a little bit more of an operation. It's a little bit more intentional with where I'm positioning, where I'm setting up, where I'm doing all of those things. On the flip side of that, with all of the features like obstacle avoidance and GPS, I tended to want to fly this more like a traditional drone. I feel like I'm at the location that this drone is when I'm flying it. Like I'm in the goggles, I'm in control, I know exactly where it is spatially. This thing, I don't trust it as much. Some of that might be because of the way that it flies with the tiltiness. I'm not totally sure. But anything that's involving proximity or working around something that I don't know exactly where I can set up from ahead of time, this is gonna be my go-to, right? This I feel so much more comfortable just kind of winging it in a way, where this I want to be more specific. I'm going to find a place to put my body so I can make sure that it's not backing into anything, all of those sorts of things. So two different applications, two different things. Proximity, big space. One of the things that's a huge advantage of the i3 over the i2 or even like a Mavic or something like that is the FPV system. When I'm setting up a shot, when I'm planning it out, I am flying it often just using the FPV. When you're kind of flying up over a tree, being able to look down and see the FPV, know, okay, I am 10, 15, 20 feet over top of that tree, whatever I need to be. The FPV is a game changer for that, and it's a huge, huge help and a huge reference. Very much the same way that I would fly something like this. I like having it on a little turntable. So let's talk about the environment in which I would choose which drone. Let's start with high intensity proximity. A shot that I did recently is this amazing shot of a hole of golf at Buffalo Ridge down near Big Cedar. And we actually flew the drone through a covered bridge that has like these slats. So it kind of gets that effect, looking at the flag pole and then flying up over a set of trees. It's a tight space in there. It is the perfect shot for gimbaled FPV, right? I am flying through this gap relatively quickly. We've got the camera pointed one way, I'm operating another way, and I know that as soon as I exit that bridge, I'm popping up and coming over. Could I do it with the Inspire? Probably. Would I want to do it with the Inspire? Absolutely not. This, it's a walk in the park, something that I fly all the time, confident, just send it, get right through there. This, I gotta find a spot to stand, I gotta be able to see the drone coming at me, I gotta make sure that obstacle avoidance is off. It's just not the same experience when I need to fly something super tight with the gimbaled FPV as I do with the DJI Inspire. The next thing I want to talk about is lensing. The biggest thing that I noticed was that even with the 50mm lens here on the DJI Inspire, I wanted to have more reach. I wanted to have a longer focal length. Some of my favorite shots that I've gotten with this system are with an 85mm or even a little bit more, and getting those really awesome kind of side profile shots with a little bit of reach. It makes it look like a freaking helicopter flying through the air. Thanks to Anthony Jaska and CFMOTO and Rally Studios for allowing me to use some of this footage, which was captured using a rig just like this with the FX6 with an 85mm Minolta. Now, I know DJI is coming out with a telephoto lens for the DJI Inspire. I absolutely can't wait. I'm going to have to fly that as soon as I get it. But that also still leaves the problem is that different directors want to use different kinds of glass. If you tell them that the only option is the Inspire 3 and that's the budget and that's what you have to go with, I'm sure there's ways around that. But if you want to be able to open up all of the doors, run whatever is needed, having a custom solution that can slang a big old cinema camera is going to be pretty important for some people. Obviously, one of the big selling points of the Inspire 3 are repeatable routes and 3D Dolly and having a flying robot. A Thrustmaster with an RS3 has none of those features, but When I used the repeatable routes, when I shot with the robot taking over, I didn't always like the look and feel of those shots. They were very robotic. They were very purposeful, and it just kind of aimed the camera and it made sure that it did exactly what it was told. So I think there's something to be said about still having humans on the sticks, whether that's the Inspire 3 or a drone like this. I'm saying both of them do those organic shots well. This one only can do those robotic shots, but I wonder if you'll always be using those. I think for the most part, when this is going to be used, it's going to be two humans in control of the drone at all times. So all in all, will the Inspire 3 take my job? I don't think so. I hope not. I think that there are some really awesome features that are a result of having a flying robot. I think there's even more benefit from having organic people in control of the machine. Now, do I care whether it's the Inspire 3 or the Thrustmaster with an RS3? No. I'm gonna use whatever tool best suits the job, whatever meets the requirements of the director and production, and that's what I'm gonna let make the decision for what tool I'm going to fly. But in the end, I don't think that the robotic features are going to take over from having a skilled operator in place. It's gonna be an amazing tool. It's something that skilled operators should know how to use and use well, but taking the time to make sure that you know how to operate these tools well is going to be key in working in a high intensity, high speed, always changing production environment. So yes, I think I'm definitely worried that there's gonna be more shots that something like this will use over this, but I think that this still has a big piece to play. This is a huge piece to play. It's unbelievable what you can get out of this. And I am definitely going to keep both of these things in my arsenal to best suit the shot that the director needs. So to sum all of this up, this is an incredible tool that takes over from all of the missteps that the Inspire 2 had, and it adds a bunch of features that take some things away from needing a system like this. That being said, I think there's still a place for both, but this thing is now such an incredible tool that it's pretty much impossible to not have it in the world of professional aerial filmmaking. I'm excited to continue to learn this tool, to have it in my arsenal, to be able to better accomplish the needs of more and more directors and filmmakers. Both of these are incredible tools. Both of them I'm excited to have, and I can't wait to see what we can go out and continue to get. Thanks very much for watching, and stay flying.